Good evening, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you're at. I woke up in the middle of the night and thought I would lull myself to sleep with some basic yellow theory. Some players in the game have been asking me to provide some foundational concepts and some tips and tricks on building up your yellow. And these are foundationally some of the things that I would probably look for. And so this is a broad survey. And so first we're going to hit singles and sweeps. We're going to very briefly touch on common beginner mistakes, single sweep combinations, application of concepts and drags, stagger step intro, and then I think we're going to add a number 6, practical examples and commentary. And we're going to keep that section pretty brief. And I'm just going to show some examples, which it's one thing to talk about these things in the abstract, but I want to also be sure that we're touching base on practical examples. So I think that that's just the honest way to go. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, everybody, let's take it from the top. I'm gonna start playing. All right, so the first one I want to show you are just simple yellow singles. So let's go back, just do that nice and easy, nice and slow, and you can see my keystrokes down below. And so I'm gonna keep going. Skipping frame by frame, there we go. Okay, and so you can see that this is D, or a right yellow. And so first I press D, I walk, and you'll see that I move first. And then I press attack, M1, and that's the swing. So first, what we do is we move in the direction you want to hit. Secondly, press attack after you move. I'm going to show you what happens later if you press attack before you move. And that's pretty much it. That's going to cause you to swing in the direction that, wow, that looks awful. Is there a way I can add background to that? Too little, too late. But the concept, okay, move in the direction you want to hit and then press attack after you move. Okay? So let's wind it back. Run it frame by frame, nice and slow. We really start with bare bone essentials right here. I want this to be super crystal clear. Move first in the direction you want to swing. I can move here, 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 here. Or not jump, I'm sorry. I can move here, here, here. I can also move in a combination of W plus D, W plus A for diagonals. And we'll go over that later. But here's a simple, nice single. Now, you can also go the other way. So that's a left. So we've gone right, and we've gone left. Right and left at the same time now. So when I do that, that creates a 1-2 combo. Let's view that in full speed. That is foundationally one of the most important things in yellow that you should learn. It is a simple, what I would like to call a yellow 1-2 or a yellow 2-swing sweep. So again, let's see that in slow motion. 1, 2. And you can do that right to left, or you can do that left to right. Watch my keystrokes as I do it again. One more time. Right and left. There it is. Simple 1-2 sweep. Try that a few times, and you want to get to the point where you can do that reliably. without accidentally doing a forward or accidentally doing a turn where you're accidentally pressing attack before you do the moves. And you can see my torso, and I over-exaggerate the movement. I move, and then I attack. Again, let's back it up and see it. Move. Okay? I'm walking to slow down my movement. Attack. And then, as the swing is finishing, swing finishes, and then I twist my torso back around. Oh, that is... We're not using that. Okay, so after the swing happens, I move my torso back around in the direction where I want the next swing to be. So I swung this to my right, I hit D, and now I'm going to move and press A down here. And then after I do that, well, during me doing that, you're attacking the entire time. You're not letting go of attack. So you hold attack, move right, swing right, and then you move left. Still hold on to attack, and it's going to cause you to do a combo. So let's get all that out, run it back, and see it in slow motion. Move left, press D. Oh, I still got it down there. Oops. So I move, press D, then press attack. Without, and I'm still holding attack the entire time. That's an important thing to understand. I'm still holding attack. And then as soon as this reaches its apex right here, I'm going to come back around for the second swing. Move into it. And then come to a stop. Go into idle position. Going for a double again. Stop. If you need to slow down and look at my keystrokes, you can. They're all right here. This is forward, left, right, jump, and crouch. And then S key for going backward. But going backward is the same as going forward for combo purposes. It's both a forward swing. Here's a swing to the right. And as soon as that swing is in motion, I can't cancel it. I'm committed to it. I automatically switch to the other side. I'm still on the line, still holding attack. And then I come back around and I keep it at a double, come back to idle. There it is. That is the double. And now we're going to mix in crouching. So you're adding in an extra key. So this is what is known as a crouching sweep. Crouching sweep right there. And what I just did was two double sweeps in a crouching position. And this will help you get under your opponent's saber. And that's really important for landing some good hits, for avoiding high right reds, for avoiding standing sweeps. If you can get under, you can really brutally punish your opponents this way. And you see it in so many videos, right? And so I'm going to run through that. We're going to do, and you'll see my keys light up. So I'm crouching first. In this case, I'm crouching first. Oops, that's not what I want to do. We're not on 3. Get rid of that. It just keeps counting. I'm so sorry. This is my ineptitude speaking, guys. I'm so sorry. I can't do the counting thing anymore. It's just gonna keep counting. We're gonna rely on pencil power. That's what we're gonna do. All right. Let's try it one more time. Nah, it's not gonna let me. That's fine. Sometimes it'd be like that. So I'm crouching first. And then I'm moving and crouching in the direction that I want to swing. and then I press mouse 1, which is my attack. It should be your attack too, by the way. And there it is, double crouching sweep. Pretty simple. Let's go back. It's a lot of keys to hold, but you really get used to it, trust me. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's that easy. Practice it. See how many times you can do it in a row successfully. And here, I'm going to start going into a common yellow mistake. Now, regardless of where you're swinging, a lot of new players, what you'll see is accidental turning. It's one of the hallmarks of a new player. And so when I'm not maintaining that side to side, I might accidentally turn. And so we want to avoid doing that, because when you're turned, look at all that exposure. Say your opponent's right here, and they got a cool looking lightsaber. Look at all that exposure they got. Those are hits. So you want to make sure that you're not accidentally turning. You want to make sure that you have that control. And the whole purpose of practicing those earlier motions was that so you can develop that control and get kind of a barrier going right in front of you. So I'm going to take it back to the very beginning right here. So when you're in this motion, you're creating a kind of a shield that makes you hard to approach, right? And so it's really hard to approach this straight on. So your opponent's going to try to parry you and maybe try to break through that defense. But it's a solid way of throwing attacks in the purpose of a deflection, a parry, or just keeping your opponent honest and giving you some space. And so we'll bring it back to 19. And erase. So let's take a look what that looks like. Now, why did that happen? Why did that turn happen in terms of keystrokes? If you're looking at my keys, you're going to see that I press W and A at the same time. So your drill should be you're only holding A for the sweep. Because if you hold A and W at the same exact time, you're going to do a diagonal. And we'll cover those in a different area. There's your diagonal. And so my saber is going top to down, which is a combination of the forward vector and this key. And so this is going to be A, and this is going to be W. And so you're going to see that reflected. We're actually going to use the highlighter. A and W. So let's back up. You see my keys, the ones in highlighted. So I'm pressing those at the same time. If you do A and W at the same time, that's going to result in a diagonal. And so there it is. Whereas you really want to drill instead do this. And so what you really want to do is A, D. So it's A, D, right, left, or similarly, left, right. That's how you create your sweep. And you hold attack the whole time, and release to finish. I gotta do a better font than that. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe just a white font would be better. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks. Hold attack the whole time and release finish. There we go. That looks a lot better. Look at that. I'm gonna start doing that. I don't know why I wasn't already doing that. I'm a dummy, guys. I'm a dummy. Hold attack the whole time and release to finish. Okay, so we're gonna throw all that out. And we're gonna see why I did that turn. So because I did that diagonal, and then I swung into the same side that I favored the diagonal with, I did that turn. And you can play around with it and see the keystrokes for creating that turn. So if I do the diagonal, which is diagonal W plus A, then hold attack, or press attack, I should say, for a single diagonal. And then if I keep holding A and I don't release attack, and this is true of any diagonal into a turn, if I keep holding A, will result in a turn. So if you want to throw a diagonal, only hold attack while you're doing the diagonal, or only press attack once. If you hold it for too long, you're going to turn. And you don't want to be doing that because you'd be vulnerable. So that's a common mistake. Don't want to be doing that. And there's an example of another turn right there. I'll let you slow that down. You can see my keystrokes. I'm not going to comment on it. So forward, and then I go right. And that's what a turn the other way looks like. And in yellow, I'm going to tell you something you absolutely don't want to do, especially at a beginner level. Never, ever, 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 ever go do forward, then side. So what I mean by that is never go W and 2. Because if you do this, that's going to result in the turn that we just saw. And then on the other side, if you go W and then A, what that's going to result in is your saber going forward and then immediately into the first left sweep, but there's no turn. And I want to stress, you're new, don't be doing that. Just don't do it. Focus on left A, right D, or D, then A. And that'll create the double sweep. Focus on that. Those are your building blocks. We've only covered 23 seconds of footage so far. And we're 18 minutes in. I might have to break up this this lesson into multiple videos. Oh, sorry, acid reflux. Okay. Gonna keep going. Come on. That's the forward into the left, forward into the right. Don't be doing that, guys. This concept is pretty simple. So what I just did is a triple sweep. So slow motion. Stand up. After I do the... Oh, come on. I can't stop it. Stop the damn Cave Goofy. My VLC media player is off Fritz right now. It's not listening to me. Oh, okay, so now you want to be doing that. Alright. So let me boot that back up. Oh, this is terrible. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so we're gonna go... oh, shit. I'm so sorry. That one. Open with VLC. Okay, come back. Come back to 25. Okay, triple sweep. Oh, what did I just do? Help! Oh my goodness, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, triple sweep. 2, 3. So it's again, let's run it back. 1, 2, 3. Same concept as before. The difference is that I'm simply holding attack for longer and I'm doing an extra A or D step. That's it. You can also do it for 5, and the limit, by the way, is 5. And so that's essentially the sweep. And that being said, we're going to go on to the next topic. So I'm going to record this one a little bit differently. I was recording in a rectangular window before, and that seemed to cause a lot of drama. So I'm going to record this one in full screen. So you'll see this up here now. Things will look a little bit different. I'm hoping it'll be a little bit cleaner. And so in this concept, we're going to go over, what are we going over again? Single sweep combinations. And so we're going to build upon our foundation of the double sweep, and we're going to add some single sweeps in between. And we see this a lot in duels, particularly with Zeph and Reefer/Reaper, same guy, by the way. And we'll wrap that up at the end of this video. But for right now, I want to show you what that looks like. We'll go full speed. So single, double, single, double, single, double. That's pretty much it. So let's review that. It's a lot in those 8 seconds. And so what I do is I start off the swing. D. Oops, let me get full screen, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. We go D. And I move forward with it. And that's a really tricky thing for beginners. Oh my god. That is super tricky. And my VLC media player is going off. It's nice. Okay, so we're gonna actually reset that. I'm just gonna let you guys see all the drama right now. Okay, so let's see what I do. So first, it's the swing. I move right for a single, and then I repeat that single, and then I come back around, and then I hold A, and then I swing for an additional attack. So let's see what that looks like. Go back, single. So what we're doing is we're going boom, D, D, A. And I want to delineate and catch a step where we're going forward to create that professional looking polished movement that we see in duels. So let's see what we're doing. D, D, A. Again, let's see when we're moving forward. D. So after the first swing, we're doing a little bit of a forward movement. And that requires a little bit of dexterity. D, and pressing W in the middle of the yellow swing. Create forward movement. And it's important to press W in the middle of the swing, because if you press W and you do a whole new attack, you're just going to swing forward, and you don't want to be doing that. So again, let's watch it. Let's watch it. Boom. Boom. Moving forward without doing a diagonal and without doing a forward swing. And then into the double sweep. Forward, into the double sweep. Now, why would I do a single followed by a double? Maybe it's a number of reasons. Perhaps I want my opponent to believe that I'm just going to do a single. Perhaps I want my opponent to, perhaps I recognize an opening and I want to go further forward and I want to capitalize on an opening that I see. There could be a lot of reasons that you want to do that. So let's keep rolling it forward. See if you can drill that. Look at my keystrokes. Look at the example I just showed you. See if you can replicate that in the game. That's pretty much it. And yeah, you just have to play around with that, use it in duels, see how it's practical, and I'll show you when that's being used in the game. So we're seeing a single followed by a double sweep. And that's what I would probably call this technique. And if you were to instead, let's say you were to instead go press D, and then mix in S key motion without hitting forward, D, A. So this would be what I would call a feint, because you do that swing, you draw them in by going backward and pressing the S key. You see that a lot in duels. I'll highlight it when I see it. And then press D again. So swing, swing, sweep. That's what it would look like. So you're in neutral position, swing, move back, swing, sweep. So that's theoretically kind of the movement track that you're following. And so that's how you do a single swing into a double yellow sweep. And then we're going to move into the next topic. So this time I want to show you guys the application of the concepts and drags. And I have frozen a bot here and they're not going to take any damage. They're just going to sit there, and we're going to be able to see how damage ticks into them as I do various yellow techniques. So this is going to be a practical application of what we saw earlier within this kind of controlled setting. So that's a single yellow strike. And so if we go back, I can go full screen. I'm going to come through. That is simply, I move forward. So first, I move forward. Oops, that's not right. First, I move forward. And then I kind of move to the side. And I want to create kind of a circular motion as I approach my target. And then when I'm at the apex of the target, I want to slow down for one brief second, use that control. I want to slow down for one brief second, use that control. And then press A and do a single swing. So instead of doing the stationary, I move forward. And as I move laterally to the side, pressing A, I just press attack once and let go. And that gives me that control. I can do one single swing, and that ticks for 1 damage. And every single yellow hit like that for 1 damage, 1 hit equals 30 damage. That's the rule with yellow for sides. So a math problem, if I do 2 hits, equals 60. And so that's what a sweep would result in if you don't do any drags. Pretty simple. We're really starting it at the basics right now, guys. Just other way, other way, other way, other way, other way. Okay, so that was a little different, right? Let's back up. What do I do? So I move to the top. And then I'm starting to go into, this isn't registering yet, but I'm starting off with 1 is A. And then I twist my torso around 2, D. And then I can't remember if I did 3 swings, but it's just basically that ADA combination, side, side, side. And then I'll explain why that ticked for so much damage. Back up. Back up. Now watch the full as I get into it from the singles. After this, bop, bop, bop. So you heard each one of those sounds. So you heard bop, 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 bop. And so I hit 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 times 30 damage per yellow swing equals 120 damage. So I just did theoretically 320 damage because it ticked 4 times into them, and that kind of leads me to my next observation. How could I have hit 4 times with only 3 swings? How's that possible? Well, let's go back and look again. Oh, I went way back. Let's get past that. Past all the singles. I just want you guys to see the singles again. Tick, tick, tick. Tick, tick, tick. And now my VLC is going off the fritz. It just won't stop sometimes, which is super annoying. Yellow 101C. Need to boot it back up. Apologies, guys. It's going off the fritz. Now it's running without me saying so. Give me 1 sec. Alright, and we're back. Let's see where we were at. I learned how to pause the video in case that bullshit happens again. Learning new things, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's get back into it. Full screen. Skip through. Okay. Yeah, so it really doesn't like me to skip the frames as often as I am. Something about that's freezing it up. Give me 1 second. Guys, this is actually a kind of a major limitation with this software, that it's crashing this often, and quite frankly, making my life a living hell right now. If there's better software out there that skips frames more reliably, please let me know, as I don't want to be going through this every time. Okay. So where we were last was we were exploring why, how I can hit 4 times with just 3 swings. Check it out. 2 ticks. 2 ticks. 2 ticks. And now that time you saw 4. Let's go back and watch that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll notice my camera, so let's say this is my camera, I'm moving it completely away, and when I do that, it causes my saber to stay in my target. And that's how I get a drag. So if I can keep my saber in my target as I'm moving left, that's how I create that additional tick damage. See that all the time in the matches. And that's how you do more damage. So in this case, it would be 4 ticks from 3 swings, resulting in 120 damage. It is possible to get 2 ticks from 1 swing, resulting in 60 damage. Usually requires being close. So let's wash that up and continue. 3 ticks. 4 ticks, 3 swings. And I'm not going to explain that because it's just a really advanced concept. I'm using a diagonal to go into it and then start into a sweep. So what that looks like is we're going to go, we're going to go, so this is the direction of the swing. So diagonal coming down, which is W plus A. So that creates that motion with the saber. And then I swing right by pressing D. And then I swing left by pressing A. And so this diagonal, if I turn my camera away while keeping the saber in them, it creates an opposite effect where it keeps the saber in the target. So that's going to tick for 60 damage. I think rule of thumb is diagonals do 40, 45, I believe. So a double tick diagonal that can do 90, essentially. And then you got the side sweep that can do up to 60. You keep your camera in there, and then the side sweep again, 60. So 60, 60, 90, 120. You're talking about doing 210 damage in the course of just that short amount of time. Pretty crazy, right? And that's definitely going to be a one-hit kill. And we see that all the time in base. We see people's HP get completely melted just by one diagonal. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Run it back. Let's erase it. Back. There's a sweep into the crouch. And then another sweep. And then diagonal. And there it is right there. Gonna slow that down. for just a second. And we're going to go frame by frame. Diagonal. Keep the camera away, and as I push the camera away, it stays in. And then I go right, and then I go left, and my camera is moving the opposite direction as my saber, thus keeping the saber in my target. And then I do it again for funsies. And that's just ticking for a crazy amount of damage. Try that on a bot, try it on a player in the middle of a duel, and let me know what the results are in the comments. And then that's the stagger step. And so your saber, my saber just followed this path. I'm getting a full screen. What am I doing? My saber just followed the path of, so 1, my saber goes, so I move in the direction left, and then 2, it goes, how do I describe it? It's like a circle. But if I want to do just the, what it looks like on the keyboard, you go W plus A at the same time. So if you hold W and A at the same time, this combination is going to result in the stagger step. So this is the key sequence. And then what that looks like in the saber path is you're going to swing left and then come around. And then each time you're doing that, this will create a tick, possibly 2. We're just going to say 1. And then this will create a lot of ticks because your saber path staying, let's say your target is going to be this guy, poor guy. And so when you're keeping your saber with the stagger step in your target for that long, you're talking about you're hitting their hitbox. Let's say you only hit for 3 ticks. And again, we're doing each yellow equals 30 damage. 4 ticks, 120 damage. And we see that all the time in the base. So we'll see damage ticking and take away all their HP except for a few left. That happens all the time. I'm going to run some Zeph matches that we've seen before at the end of this video, and I'll show you examples of exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to rehash that. So I'll get rid of this. And we'll keep it going. Stagger step. Left plus forward. That easy. And we're going to go to the next segment. Alright everybody, we're coming into the middle of the Zeph and Reaper match, and I'll link the link to that video in the description. We've already casted it before. And that's a much more in-depth, holistic analysis. Right now I'm just going to take a couple minutes of the duel, and we're going to look at specifically how the concepts that we just covered are used in this solid yellow match between 2 high skill players. So let's get it. Stagger step, right single, diagonal. So what we just saw there, he comes in, semicircle movement. So we're going to see semicircle movement, and at the top of the semicircle, right where he's expecting Zeph to come. So he's expecting the Zeph is going to go right here, idle saber. And so what he's going to do is he's going to go crouch. Going to 1, crouch, 2, sweep. And so we're going to see that take place here in just a moment. So what he did is he went right and he went left. But first, he pressed C to get under Zeph's saber because Zeph favors standing sweeps. And so to get under that, he went to the top of the semicircle first. Top of the semicircle, press C, then went right, and then went left, resulting in the crouching sweep. Just like we saw in our foundational video. Pretty cool. Stagger step. Stagger step. Lots of stagger stepping. And there, that time we saw a double sweep into a stagger step, which you can also do. And so it slowed down. I'm going to be careful with how I skip frames so my VLC doesn't go crazy on me. So what we see is right, another right, left, stagger. So what, again, that was right or D key, 1, right, D key to repeat the swing. Oh, I said 2 numbers. And then left, and then when you go left, there's no right stagger step, but you have to swing left, which is the A key. And then 4, left plus forward, stagger step. As long as you swing left, you can combo that into the left forward stagger step, unless it's on after the 5th swing, because yellow only has 5 swings. And this whole time, you are holding attack the whole time. I cannot stress that. I want to make that bold. Bold. Oh, can I not make that bold? Whatever. Oh, I can make it bigger. This is going to be funny. Hold attack the whole time. That's how you do that combo. Hold attack the whole time. You try to do it, you're going to do accidental forwards. Get rid of that. A couple more minutes of this. Of covering this anyway. I could go on and on for a very long time about this. There's that right. Stagger step into the right. Diagonal. You can also mix diagonals into your sweeps. That's an advanced concept though. I'll let you explore that for yourself. We'll cover that in a later session. Left, left plus stagger. Countered by the sweep. Now the problem with the left stagger, and we're getting into a little bit of theory here, I'm trying not to get into too much theory, is when Reaper was swinging, he goes into that, let's say this is his saber path. Throw a little lightsaber. I don't know. Okay. So let's say this is a saber. And saber path. So when he's doing a stagger step, so let's say he swings. And that's his first hit. And then he goes into the stagger step. And the saber path is like that. It's like a hook. And when Zeph is lining up and doing his sweeps, so that's what we see a lot from Zeph. So first attack, second attack, stagger. And then what Zeph responded to in that kill was, and this is a weakness in using the stagger, is just blap. Oops, red. Is just blap. Blap. That's the thing about the stagger step. Is you're in this phase where there's opportunity right here for a favorable trade. I'm going to make that a different blue. There's an opportunity for a favorable trade here. But that's not most of this. This is only about, I don't know, 20-30% of the exposure window with the stagger step. A simple sweep to counter that Zeph does, that's going to cover a majority of the bottom. So in this case, just statistically, like as a matter of probability, like you have based on average amount of timings, let's say there's 1,000 trials of this, it's gonna be, oops, let's make that font smaller. That's stupid looking. You're gonna see stagger coming over the top, harder and riskier, and that's gonna happen about 20% of the time. Double sweep to counter an open stagger step. Oops. That is a safe counter and reliable, limited exposure. So again, he's coming into the stagger step, goes left, left plus forward, and Zeph sweeps, clean it up. So let's see that again in real time. Yep, that's the one. Go nice and we're gonna go super slow. Okay, here's the open stagger step right here. So when you see that yellow swing right there, boom, and you see it getting locked and it's staying there, you know that what's going to come next is going to be the left, left plus forward, resulting in the stagger. He's been doing a lot of those. Well, in that case, he only did one, so it was a fake out. But this time he actually committed to it. Stun locked. I think I backed up too far, guys. See what that looks like in real time. Yep. So what happened? So that's exactly what I wanted to see. So, okay, does the single away. Now he tries to go for the stagger step right here, goes into it at the beginning of the loop. So his saber path, his intended saber path, was this. This was supposed to stay in Zeph and then tick for damage 1, maybe 2 times, 3 times for some damage because he has low HP, so he's going to swing for the fences and trust in his yellow and his ability to parry. But the thing is, before you even got to this step, he was already at the end. So he had to do this left swing first to get into it. But he already was doing that. And so before he had a chance to go into his stagger step, Zeph came in with a much faster hit and cut it off. So by cutting it off, that means this never happens. So the intended path never happens. And Zeph just cleans up with a simple bop, bop. And then that knocks away his saber. And then Zeph comes back in for his classic clean sweep. Gotta love it. So that's a lot of theory. It's pretty heavy. We went over a lot. But that's my foundations. And I could go on for hours and hours and hours and hours. But I want to stop it there. I want to give you a chance to digest some of that information. I'm so sorry for some of the VLC hangups. I'm still learning this. I promise that the other classes in the future are going to be a lot smoother. I actually learned about the pause function, which is something I should have known about, but I'm learning this stuff as I go, and I'm trying my best, and I appreciate your patience. And I hope that you found this to be informative. My audience in making this was for new players, for old players who want to rediscover some of their foundations and look at some of the theory. And also because I want to, because I love talking about this. I love this game. And watching matches like this enlivens me, and it's really great to see these concepts really applied. And so we went over abstract concepts, and then we saw it in live practice. So it's not like those moves are just drills that just don't exist in real matches. Those are foundational building blocks which lead, when they're all put together in your own unique synthesis, to your own stylistic interpretation of yellow. There's a lot of expression and there's a lot of freedom with which you can use yellow, and these are some basic building blocks that will help you get there. And maybe you can become the next Zeph, or maybe you can become the next Reaper, or maybe you can make your own style and become the next great individual executor of yellow. And then maybe I can cast your matches. So I hope you found it useful, and I'm going to cut out for now. Probably should get some sleep. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.